Today, we're going to talk about Slenderman. Slenderman isn't just another internet creepypasta. He was invented online, but over time, so many stories have built up around him that it's hard to tell where fiction ends and something else begins. Imagine this. A quiet suburb, late evening. The air is still, not even the dogs are barking. You're walking past a children's playground, and your eyes catch a figure in the distance. At first, you think, a man in a suit, but something's off. He's too tall, nearly 3 meters high, thin to the point of looking unnatural. He's wearing a black suit and a white shirt, but he has no face. None at all. In its place, a smooth, pale surface like a mask. And he's not moving. You blink, and suddenly he's closer. No footsteps, no sound. He just shifted. Somewhere behind you, there's a soft static noise, like an old radio picking up interference. Slenderman doesn't hunt everyone. He's most often seen by children and teenagers. It's as if he plants himself in their minds, causing nightmares, obsessive visions, and an urge to follow him into the woods. Those who stare at him for too long often complain of headaches, memory lapses, and sometimes they just vanish. They say he appears where tragedies once happened, near old schools, abandoned camps, in forests where bodies were found. And anyone who sees him starts to see him more and more, first from afar, then closer each time. Some say he has dark tendrils moving behind his back, which he uses to grab his victims. Others claim it's just a shadow, but a shadow that moves on its own. The legend began in 2009 on the Something Awful forum, when a user posted edited photos with captions about a tall man watching children. But once the story started spreading online, people began swearing they'd seen him long before that, in old dreams, in school photos, in video clips where he appeared for just a split second. And now, try to imagine he's already near. You're listening to this, and somewhere behind you, outside the window, maybe a thin, still figure in a black suit is watching. And the longer you think about him, the more likely it is that he'll notice you. But what if I told you a real story, far scarier than any made-up legend? The Waukesha, Wisconsin case. May 31st, 2014. 3 12-year-old girls, Morgan Geyser, Peyton Lutner, and Anissa Weier, decided to spend the weekend together. They went for a walk in a small wooded area near their homes. But one of them didn't come back on her own. Peyton was found later, covered in blood, with 19 stab wounds. She was miraculously still alive. She managed to crawl to a nearby road, where a cyclist spotted her. Morgan and Anissa were arrested that same day. When asked why, their answer was chilling. They said they did it for Slenderman. According to them, he was watching them, and to avoid his wrath, they had to make a sacrifice. They also claimed that after the act, Slenderman would let them live with him in his mansion in the forest. Where did this come from? The investigation found that the girls had spent months reading creepypastas and testimonies about Slenderman. They truly believed he was real, that he lived somewhere in Wisconsin, and that he would choose them if they proved their loyalty. Psychiatrists diagnosed Morgan Geyser with early-onset schizophrenia. Anissa also suffered from severe mental issues and was highly suggestible. But the key thing is, both of them convinced themselves that Slenderman was real. What happened next? Peyton survived, but was left with deep scars and serious psychological trauma. Morgan and Anissa were found guilty, but due to their age and mental health conditions, they weren't sent to prison. Instead, they were committed to psychiatric institutions for decades. To this day, Peyton says in interviews that she sometimes feels like someone's watching her, and that she'll never feel safe walking in the woods again. In this case, the legend of Slenderman proved that sometimes internet monsters can come to life, inside the minds of those who believe in them. Interestingly, similar stories and figures exist in old folklore. In 18th century English villages, there was a myth about the tall man who would take disobedient children into the woods. And in Japan, there are legends about the Naperbo, faceless beings. That's why many conspiracy theorists believe Slenderman isn't just a fictional creation from a forum, but a recurring figure that emerges in people's consciousness around the world from time to time. And the internet simply became a new vessel for an ancient nightmare.